What's going on, people? Welcome to a special video. Jefferson Lerma has officially signed for Crystal Palace, coming from Bournemouth on a free transfer. He's out of contract, and I'm joined by Kirk from the Cherries Red Army to give us all the insight into the player. As always, leave down your comments in the comment section down below, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Kirk, before we get into the player in more depth, let's just get your reaction to it. Jefferson Lerma was a player that many were expecting him to go over to Spain or, go abroad if he was to leave Bournemouth. But he's joined Palace. I think that's been a shock to many Bournemouth fans. But what's your overall reaction to it and how things have happened?
Thanks, Dee, for the invite. Great to be on here. I wish it was on different terms, but hey ho, let's talk about Jefferson Lerma. Not a shock that he's decided to leave the club at the end of his contract. We were all expecting him, hopefully, to go abroad, back to Spain. That was spoken about a few times previously. But out of the blue, this move is coming about going to Crystal Palace, and it's a shock. I'm not going to lie. We look at Crystal Palace with no disrespect here. We look at Crystal Palace as a team we want to target to try and finish higher in the league next season. We've got our new ownership. They're promising lots of money to go into the club, and we've just not given, because it's Jefferson Lerma's choice, but we've just lost a player to a little bit of a rival, shall we say, in those positions we're going to be hopefully fighting for. So a little bit disappointed. However, the guy has given us some fantastic 5 years, and he has been a great servant. I'm not going to stick the knife in at all, because I absolutely love Jefferson Lerma. I wish it was a different club, but it is what it is, and I'll send him with all my love and wish him all the best.
Yeah, so let's get into the player now. So we all know as Palace fans that he's a midfielder. We're signing a midfielder on a free transfer, which we do need because Luka Milivojevic has left, Jake McArthur has also left as well. And there's been a gap in the past season anyways with the midfield. But what type of midfielder is he, Kirk? Is he a 6, a 8 or 10? How would you describe him as a player?
Yeah, he's never really played as high as a 10. He's had moments previously under Jason Tyndall, maybe a bit of Jonathan Woodgate in the Championship where they tried to play him higher up as an 8. But really, he came to Bournemouth under Eddie Howe as a number 6, a defensive midfielder. That's where I feel his best position is. He's got bite, he's got strength, he wins you the ball, he gets you on his way. And that's where his best performances for me in the 5 years at the Cherries have been. He's also had moments where we've dropped him back into a back 3 under Scott Parker and tried him in a different formation. He did okay. I think he got sent off against Coventry when he was last man and he just took the player out. So didn't really enjoy him in that position, but he's sort of fell back into the number 6 role under Gary O'Neill, and he has had a fantastic season for us. Got voted locally as player of the season for the Cherries. Maybe that was just to try and tempt him to stay again. But yeah, it's a number 6. It's a defensive midfielder for you and a really great player, 28 in his prime in that position.
So that's interesting because we've got a number 6 already in Cheick Doucouré. I was thinking more of a midfield 3, me personally anyways, of Doucouré, Eze, and you fit Lerma there. And I think Lerma's position would be a number 8, a player that could, attack, go into the box as well as go in his own box to defend as well. Do you think he can play as a number 8 role?
He can. He can, and he's done it for us previously. You've also got to look at his stats for the 22-23 season. He had 5 goals in that season, scored on the opening day. His best goal, I think, was against Leeds at home. His best return in goals for a season for us. So he can add value going up the pitch. I still think his best value is winning the ball, turning the ball over, getting you going forward, because his range of passing is not the greatest, but he can do the basics very well. He can control the ball. He can get the possession built up. And anywhere in that centre midfield for you, he'll do a job for you. Jefferson Lerma is a player that will always work for the team, always work for the manager. So, yeah, I think you could probably push that way, and you'll see that he'll work very hard for you, and there'll be some housery in there as well. D, he's a great player, and he's also sorted out his sort of suspensions and his disciplinary over the years with us as well. So I think he was our highest appearance maker as well in the Premier League. So you get a player that not only adds value, but very rarely gets injured.
It's very good. It's very good. I'm telling you, most Palace fans, just like me, probably have smiles on their faces whilst he was talking about him. And we just got started, literally, with the chat. But talking about his goals, 5 goals, because I noticed that as well. This was the most goals that he scored in a season for Bournemouth. Is that down to the manager? Has he improved in his game? What has that come down to? Do you think the most? Why has he all of a sudden scored 5 goals? It doesn't. It's not like he scored 20 goals or so, but
No.
still, it's an improvement.
Yeah, and I think he has scored in most seasons. I think there was a season in the Championship he might have got 2 or 3. Yeah, he doesn't score bundles of goals, but he's not that type of midfielder. He's not a forward-thinking central midfielder. He's more of a holding midfielder at the heart of your starting 11. So this season, he's just ended up. I mean, he scored 2 against Leeds. I think that's his first brace for us ever. So he got 2 in that game when we battered them 4-1, and he got us going in the Premier League season in that opening day win 2-0. So good goals. He scored 1 with his left against Aston Villa. Cracking goal against Leeds. If you want to watch it back, Palace fans, go and have a look at it. Caressed it, finessed it right into the top corner. So, I don't know. He has got that in the locker. I mean, you should know on the final day of the season,
Yeah,
he
I'm
smashed one in
sorry
from
for that.
about 30 yards. Not always got it in his locker, but on his day, he can find the back of the net.
What about his playmaking? You said that he hasn't played number 10. Has he got a bit of playmaking to his game? Or is it just that if he goes in and around the box, it's more of like a, let me shoot first rather than bring others into the game? Because as you said, he plays like a number 6, so it's a bit
Yeah.
hard to describe. But what's his passing, playmaking like as well?
Yeah, so I feel like he has that aggression to go and get the ball, turn it over. He'll try and play it simple where he can. So he'll go out to the fullbacks, he'll go sideways, back to defenders, keep that possession, try and build it up. I wouldn't say that he has a range of passing where he's going to find players between the lines. He's going to open teams up. That's not what I see Jefferson Lerma. He can pass the ball, but he's not going to spray it. Sometimes he can maybe try and get the wingers into positive positions. But yeah, it's more about getting possession, winning the ball, keeping it, and then getting your positive, more creative players in the transition. That's what you're going to be looking at as Jefferson Lerma. That's what I've seen for Bournemouth, and he's a great player in that midfield for you for lots of reasons.
Yeah, and I think that is the main positive that I'm looking forward to. As I said, that midfield three of Decore, Eze, and Lerma, you add Eze next to him, and then you have the Elise, and we'll see what happens with Czar's situation. But I think there's creative players there. Well, if you can have that distribution to those players, I think Palace will create more chances because in midfield, throughout the season, we've had different midfielders, but we've struggled to have that one midfielder next to Decore or Eze that could, play week in, week out. We've had to shuffle it, continuously. So I think that would be a main positive. But in terms of his strengths and weaknesses, let's get into that. So if you had to pick one main strength for Lerma, what would it be?
His housery is brilliant, by the way. He absolutely loves it. His ability to win a battle, win a duel against the opposition is right up there. His ability to show his aggression, take the team up the pitch, get the team sort of performing well. He's the heart for me in Bournemouth. We've literally lost the heart of our team and we've lost the middle of our spine. So that is definitely a strength that he'll go into your side. He'll had that strength and aggressiveness, and I don't know if that's what you're missing, but he'll get you on your way. With a weakness, I would have said a couple of years ago, it's his disciplinary record. That there's actually an argument to say that a lot of referees had it in for him. They'll never come out and say that, but he used to get some really cheap yellow cards, cheap red cards. Maybe he didn't help himself at times, but sorted that out this season. No red cards in the 22-23 season, but he has had about 50 plus yellow cards in his 5 years at Bournemouth. So it's a weakness, but he seems to have sorted it out. And when I spoke to you, dear, about him being in his prime, this is where you get to. So you do that learning, you get to 28, and this is what you are now. And then you get 3 years out of a prime player that's done all his learning and it's just going to provide its best. So maybe we've got rid of all those niggly parts of Jefferson Lerma that are not great. You've inherited them, and you are getting a fantastic player, not just on the pitch, off the pitch as well. This guy is the most likable guy you're going to come across. I'm telling you now, Crystal Palace fans, the minute you get to meet him, you're going to love him. The guy is an absolute exceptional professional, and I'm so gutted, D. I'm so gutted because we've got a massive hole in our midfield and in our squad now, and we've got to sort that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, you're putting extra smiles on my face. I'm getting even more excited. You're giving us all the props, but it shows. It shows because there was a lot of clubs that were interested in him as well. I think West Ham in the Premier League as well, and him coming to Palace, which makes it even better because we desperately needed a midfielder. And it's interesting what you said off the pitch because I was going to ask you about that as well. In terms of character, would you class him as like a leader? Is he more of a quiet person? How do you describe Lerma on and off the field?
I would definitely say he's a massive team player. You're going to get a guy that's going to run through walls for the club, for the manager, for every teammate he has. Off the pitch, don't think I've ever heard anything negative. Always seeing photos of Jeff Lerma in restaurants with fans, and he's kindly allowed that to happen when he's out with his family. I know I've got colleagues of mine that have met him in and about Bournemouth, and he's just so kind and welcoming. And I've personally had a photo with him. My son has as well. And a genuine, nice guy who is normally the last player off the pitch. He'll be clapping the fans away, win, lose, or draw. Last man off the pitch. There are not many professionals, D, out there nowadays that are just top notch. A lot of
Mm.
players now will just drop a club, run for the money. Now, Jefferson Lerma might be going to Palace for some money related stuff. They're signing on fees there. But I think Jeff Lerma maybe just needs a new challenge. I'm gutted it's Crystal Palace, as I've spoken about. But there's a new challenge there. I think London might have been an appeal. Yes, there's some money involved, but it's not the big driver. I'm not convinced it's the big driver. So, yeah, you're getting a great guy, a great player, and you'll see it. It won't take you long. You'll love the guy. You'll fall in love with him. He fell in love with Bournemouth. He'll fall in love with Palace and London, and you're definitely going to benefit from this. And he cost us 25 million quid, and you're getting him for nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we saw that as well. Yeah, when I was researching into him, yeah, 25 million pound. And by the way you're describing him, it seems like he's only improved from that stage as well. So his market value probably now would be more than that you would expect, anyways.
yeah, I mean, I still think I'd need to check because Traore's just signed permanently from Sassuolo, and that might just be over the 25 million pound marker. But up to this point, I think he is our biggest purchase, and that was 5 years
Mm.
ago under Eddie Howe, and he has definitely progressed as a player. There were a little frustrations where he was getting sent off, and you're like, no, Jeff, now you've left us with a problem during the match. He sorted that out. He's always wore his heart on his sleeve. He's always tried. Look, we should never have had him for 2 years in the championship. Maybe one. Stay with us, Jeff. Try and get us up. But when we didn't get promoted the first time, how have we still got Jeff Lerman in the championship for a second season? This is why Bournemouth fans, in my opinion, will not be. They won't be too bad about it. Like they'll be gutted, but he will be sent on his way with all the best wishes from pretty much everyone because he's gave his life, his 5 years to the club through the championship, through the Premier League, and yes, look, he's walked out on a free, but we knew that he was going to be a big player for us this season. We cemented our place in the Premier League. We'll see that as a monetary value. So we have won in a way, but obviously now we've got to solve a problem ourselves of trying to replace him. And that is not going to be an easy thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, and that shows credit to Lerma because that's the type of player he was. That it won't be easy replacing him. But if we're talking about overall your rating for the transfer or free transfer, you can make the argument that he didn't actually join from Bournemouth. He's a free agent. What would you give it out of 10 for Palace?
I mean, if you're Palace, you're getting Jeff Lerma, 28 in his prime. It's 10-10. 10 out of
Wow.
10. I mean, in my opinion, if this is a year ago, last season, it's 15, 20 million quid easily. I mean, this guy's not in his 30s. This guy's not at the end of his career. This guy's going right into the best time of his life at the best moment of his football time. And if it's not a 10-10, it's a 1-10 for Bournemouth. It's a 10-10 for Palace. And it's going to be difficult. When we come to Selhurst Park next season, when he comes back to Dean Court, I mean, I'm sure the fans will sing his name. We're not going to want you to win for those two games, obviously, but there's no ill feeling, in my opinion. Jeff's done everything the right way. We wished it was a different way. We wish it was another country, but it is what it is. We'll get over it quickly, hopefully. Definitely a big win for Palace fans, and you'll learn very quickly, very, very soon. you'll love the guy, you'll fall in love with him, and he'll be a fantastic player for you. I have no doubt in that.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What would you give Jefferson Lerma your rating based on what Kirk has said from the Cherries Red Army? As always, make sure to check out Kirk's channel. Great Bournemouth content over there as well. The link will be in the description of this video to get more insight on the latest Bournemouth stuff as well. Kirk, have you got anything planned over the summer? Or are you just taking a rest, enjoying the weather?
We just done our end of awards evening where we talked about the 22-23. We'll see how
Lerma
busy
one?
it gets through the summer. Yeah, we had some good awards. We had some good winners. We'll see what happens. We're expecting some big transfers, a bit of an overhaul maybe of the squad. So it's a new moment for the club, new ownership. We've got a new training ground being built as we speak. So look, positive times for Bournemouth, not positive times losing Jeff Lerma, but you know what happens, D? It sort of turns over. The next future starts, and I'm sure we'll all be okay by August. Please do look after Jeff Lerma. I'm sure you will. But
Yeah.
I do thank you for inviting me on to here, and wish you all the best for next season, bar 2 games.
Thank you very much, Kirk. And yeah, make sure to check out Cherries Red Army. And until next time, up the palace.